Namaste, everybody. And again, I'm going to be talking about um, chapter 2. Now, we know in chapter 1 is a simple one where Arjuna is anxious to know how he is going to fight, whom he is going to fight. He goes in between the two armies and he then sees all the relatives poised to destroy each other, and he becomes very despondent, drops his Gandiva and says, I'm not going to fight. Now, in chapter 2, Sri Krishna is like a manager whose employee has lost the will to go out and do what he's supposed to do. So the first thing that Sri Krishna has to do is to make Arjuna fit for use, fit for battle. So the arguments that Sri Krishna uses are very interesting. The first thing obviously he says is that everybody who comes in has an expiry date. So you don't have to really feel sad or bad that you are getting into this. And so I'm going to read these verses and I'm not very good in Sanskritam, so I'm going to read my translations. And we will try, and the first part is only how Sri Krishna is positioning himself and Arjuna, and then thereafter how he talks about Brahman. The key here is to understand Brahman. And so what we will do is the first part, I will explain whatever I have understood, and thereafter we will try to experience Brahman. First part is the theory, second part will be the practical. Okay. So I'm talking about verse 11. So here Sri Krishna says, you grieve for those that should not be grieved. The wise do not grieve for the dead and the living, not I, or even you, or any of the rulers of men also existed at any time, nor shall anyone in the future. So here he is saying even he has an expiry date, not just Arjuna. That's an important part. The embodied in the body passes through childhood, youth, old age, and entry into another body. The self-possessed do not get bewildered. So he says there's a cycle of birth and death. So there's no point in worrying about this whole thing. Now I'm going to go to verse 16. This is how he describes Brahman, and I'd like you all to pay attention to this. It does not exist in cognition of experience. No experience is cognized in this state of merger. So the thing is that what he is saying, that all experiences that we have here are not related to the Brahman. And this is an important part. That means whatever we are experiencing here now is actually Maya. And the Brahman is not related to that. The inside of these two states, that is the state of cognition of experience and the state of merger, have indeed been seen by the knowers of the state. So that also means that we can experience that state. So there are two parts. One is that whatever you are experiencing now is not the Brahman, but it is possible for us to reach that stage. Cognize that indestructible is indeed that which pervades everything. The third part is the Brahman is everywhere. That means all of this that we are talking, this entire setup that we have, you, me, all of us, it is there. The Brahman is everywhere. But the key is that particular thing that we don't see it. We are not able to see it because we are using too much of our intelligence. Destruction of the imperishable is not something anyone can do. So it is not it is not perishable. So these bodies have an end, but the everlasting is said to be embodied as indestructible, immeasurable. He who thinks he is the slayer, he who cognizes that something is slain, both do not know that this does not slay, nor is it slain. So what he is saying is that The Brahman is not motile. It does not do, nor does it get forced to do at all. So the Brahman is just a medium. It is a medium that exists everywhere. It is there here right now. We are in the middle of it, but we are unable to cognize it. Okay, it is neither born nor does it die at any time. It is not present now or later in the future or in that which is occurring. It is unborn, eternal and changeless. This ancient is not killed when the body is being killed. So, he who cognizes this to be indestructible, unborn, infinite and to exist everywhere, how can that person cause slaying or slay? So the thing that he is saying is that the Brahman is everywhere. It is the substrate on which everything exists. So when we try to justify something as good and bad, right and wrong, it is actually irrelevant. Just as worn out clothes are cast away, and new additional ones are taken by man. Similarly, bodies are cast off after they are used up, and new bodies are entered into. Now he is talking about the quality of Brahman again. This cannot be cut by weapons. This does not burn. This does not get wet in water. Does not get dry in wind. It cannot be cut, cannot be burnt, cannot be wetted, dried, and is also constant, everywhere, stable, unmoving. This universal. This is unmanifested. This is unthinking. It's unchangeable. This is therefore not knowing. One not knowing to lament. You don't have to lament. Now, if you think that this is constantly being born or constantly dying, you must not grieve. For those that are born, death is certainty. Definitely there is birth for those who die. That means anything that is material, anything that can be experienced has an expiry date. It is unmanifested in the beginning, it is manifested in the middle, and unmanifested again in the end. So don't lament. Now here I'm going to use. So what we have got as a problem is to define something that is there, but we cannot immediately cognize. That means if we try to use our experience, we will never be able to cognize Brahman. So what is Brahman? If you go through everything, the description of what Śrī Kṛṣṇa says, it is possible only in one state, and that is the state of null or nothing. Because what we are talking about here, anything that we are talking about, this is something. It is an existential something. I can cognize it. That this is a mobile phone. I can cognize it. But he is saying that this is got an expiry date. So it is coming out of some place. There is a source from which this is coming. Now the question really becomes, what is the source? Where does anything come from? Even if you call it God, where does God come from? Because God must be coming from some place. If God created or preserves or drives, then God must also come from some place, because it is an entity. Now because if in order to do something, that particular entity must be able to manipulate materiality. So where does that come from? The only place anything can come from is a state of null. Null or nothing is a state where materiality does not exist, a matter does not exist. Then what exists in that state? Only an awareness can exist. That means the awareness of null is the only thing that can exist in that state. Which is why during dhyana, if you remember in the last part of the class, I was telling you all to settle down and go into a state where there is no movement within yourself. You can experience a silence. Now what is silence? A silence is a state where there is nothing. There is no sound, there is no vision, After all, we have only the Panchabhutas, right? Hearing, vision, taste, and then movement. There is movement of wind against my skin, or movement of air going into my nose, which is why I ask you all to observe the breath, because then what happens, as everything is brought down to a state where it becomes irrelevant, then a silence comes in. That silence, which becomes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, becomes the state where the consciousness stops moving. Which is why, if you remember, I told you all, when you all breathe in and breathe out and you are observing the silence, you will experience an activity within the brain. When that activity begins to subside into a state of silence, and the extreme state of silence that you reach is where the consciousness will not move. That state is what Patanjali calls Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Chitta means the consciousness, Vritti, the movement, is stopped. So, this he is talking, that is the only state which fulfills all the parameters which Śrī Kṛṣṇa uses to describe Brahman. Okay. So now my question to all of you is, am I right in making this assessment? That is the first question I have. Because it is not necessary that I should be correct. What I have read about Śrī Kṛṣṇa's explanation of Brahman, what I have understood, what I have explained, does that make sense? Yes, sir. Ramon, sir.
Yeah. From what I read and what you said now, am I right to say that what we see and what we experience is all illusion or Maya?
Correct.
What we don't see and what we don't experience is Brahman. Is it right?
No, sir. That is also, the Brahman is a state, is also an experience, but that is an experience where there is no material connection. Okay. So the thing is that, see, he is saying that it exists. It is the one that is, it is supporting everything. It is not participating. It is not even observing. It is neither observing. It is just holding everything in place. So what is that state from which something can come without participating? And it doesn't care. So, Kala madam, just 1 minute. Let me answer Ramohan sir's question, and then you can ask the question. You can give your comments. So we have a state here where there is materiality, and then thereafter, where does it come from? So if we correlate what Śrī Kṛṣṇa says, it seems to me that the only place it can come from is a state of nothing. But a nothing means what? What does nothing mean? So that is the question, right? So yes, sir.
My doubt is whether it is nothing or is it infinite.
Let us look at nothing. Nothing is zero.
Yeah.
Infinite is 1 divided by 0.
Okay.
So anything divided by 0, it is roughly the same place. No, the materiality divided by 0. 1 is material. 0 is no material.
No material.
So when you get to that stage, then it really doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't matter. Okay.
Both are the same.
Both are the same. But it is something, but we don't experience. But our attempt is to experience it.
We can experience. Obviously, he's saying it is experienceable. So that's what he's saying. You can experience it. But everything that we currently experience is not that.
It's not that. It's Maya. It's illusion.
It is transient. It has an expiry date. So the vivekam or the experience of vivekam comes from ability to distinguish from that which is transient to that which is permanent. So, and that is basically what he is trying to tell Arjuna, that everything is transient. There is something that is permanent. That is the Brahman.
So whatever is transient is Maya.
Correct. Correct. Kala madam, next.
Sir, Namaste sir. Last class you were talking about 3 gunas. So that is one kind of experience. the result of three gunas. Now,
Yes.
can we define Brahman as Gunatita? Anything without guna?
Nirguna.
Yes, yes.
Nirguna. It is not
Nirguna.
Gunatita. It is Nirguna. Where you
Nirguna.
have no experience of gunas is
Yes.
a state where the Brahman is. Yes.
Yes.
You can experience. That is the state of null. No. When you don't
Absolutely.
experience happiness, goodness, inertia, nothing. That is the state of null. Okay. Next is Jayshree Madam. Jayshree Madam, your question.
Yeah. One thing is, like how when we started class, you had asked us to cut that carrot, and that for me is like very, it's like a total blissful experience. So
Yes.
being completely in the moment and just
Yes.
being in what I'm doing, my awareness, everything is what I'm doing. Like for instance, when I sit with my tea in the morning and when I watch a crow picking on the food, or when I watch the sunrise, and I'm just in that.
Mm.
So is that awareness a feeling of Brahman?
I'm going to ask you another question on top of this.
Hmm.
Now, what you've explained this, articulated it beautifully. You're sitting in a chair on the veranda. You're watching the sunrise. Okay. The point is, you are in the moment, right? When you're sipping the tea, how much of the sweetness, the sourness, the milk do you taste? Because if you're doing everything simultaneously, you're not in the moment.
No, I'm not aware of my tea. I'm only aware of the sunrise.
So
Meaning
that
my
means,
focus is not on the tea so much as on the sunrise or watching the bird eat, watching every moment she bending her neck, picking the food, looking this way, that way. So no, I'm just tracking everything. Tracking, matlab, like I'm just following what
so
she's
what is
doing.
happening is that your vision has gone 360. It is it is an overall awareness, right?
Hmm.
The overall awareness cannot be Brahman.
Okay.
The thing is that the awareness has to be such, if you are aware of every moment, that is,
Hmm.
I'm sipping my tea, means that awareness of sipping the tea, the senses touching the tea,
Hmm.
the experience has to be complete. Otherwise, what is happening is that you're in a flow of the moment.
Hmm.
Now,
Hmm.
you do tend to get that, and what happens there is you're in the experiential awareness of the present is a brilliant awareness.
Hmm.
It's something that is very difficult to get. But you must
Hmm.
recognize one thing: you are looking only at the sunrise. Everything else is paling inside. So what is happening is that you've got everything in there. You are aware, and then it goes into the sunrise. So you're getting into a state of ekagrata.
Hmm.
Only the
I would also
sunrise.
I would also say that as you are talking to me, I'm listening, I'm taking in what you're saying, but I'm looking at the phone. I am, there are so many things happening. So the awareness is getting diffused, it's getting scattered over so
Correct.
many things. So
Correct.
that is
Correct.
not okay. So a state of unawareness is Brahman,
Correct.
right?
Your
Okay, I
state of
get it.
you're aware as well as unaware. See, the thing is that the awareness is of the lack of the state of null. That means the awareness
Hmm.
is of nothing.
Because I'm not aware what happens to the food that goes into my system. I just get the energy, I get on with life, I do my functions, everything. So that is Brahman, right?
No. See, the thing is that there is an involvement, yet there is no attachment. You cannot say that I'm not involved. When you say I am not getting involved in it, then what happens is that it is a state of tamas.
Hmm.
So when you are working at one point, you're completely aligned with what you are doing. Everything
Hmm.
else is shut off. It's somewhat like, when Dronacharya asks Yudhishthira, when he's holding the bow, what do you see? He says that I see the feet of the Dharmaraja. Then Bhima says, I see the fruits in the tree. And then
Hmm.
Arjuna says, I see the eye of the bird.
Fish.
bird or whatever, the
Oh,
fish.
yeah.
So the thing is that is ekagrata. But that
Okay.
also is not the Brahman. Because when that ekagrata is completely in the state of null and permanent, and there is no movement of the consciousness, that is the state of the null, where there is complete awareness, but there is no materiality. The materiality has to go. The what I think Kala madam said, nirguna. Have I
But tell
answered the
me,
question?
how fair is this? That you are made to go through each ashram of life with all the experiences, with all the responsibilities. You have if you have a family, you need to provide for them, you need to work for them. So you have to chase material
Yes,
stuff, right? Then
yes.
in all of this, how can we be expected to feel Brahman? I can feel God within me. For me, if I'm kind to somebody, I feel that I'm being godly. That godlike character is coming out.
That is called Deva Guna. Okay, now it is still a guna. It is still a guna. The thing is, Sattva Guna is still a guna. You have to go become Nirguna. You have to become like a duck in water. You are doing it, but you don't feel anything. There is no past. You don't carry any baggage. There is no past. There is no present. You are not carrying anything.
I'd like to meet
You are,
this person who's like this.
why there we have Bharat has been blessed with such people. Ramana Maharishi was a classic example.
Yes. Yes.
Sadashiva Brahmendra. Then we
No,
have.
I'm talking of a mortal human who's living a mortal human's life. Yeah.
Well. The thing is that maybe we'll find a role model in you.
Oh no, please. I'm just at the. Also, how to be aligned with reaching, or in a rather with realizing Brahman and still being grassrooted and not getting esoteric and not feeling I'm God and above everything else. That is another one which I would like to understand maybe at some other time.
Yeah, at this point in time, even I don't have the answer. I have not
Okay.
until I reach that stage. I won't be able to answer the question. So
Maybe we'll
I
see
don't
it in
know.
you soon.
Maybe sometime in the future. Meenu madam, yes madam,
Okay,
please ask the
thank you.
question.
Thank you.
No problem.
Uh,
Meenu madam.
Sir, first thing is that I didn't attend your last class, so I'm not aware of what happened in that class. Okay, so I'm beginning from this class alone.
No
Okay,
problem.
now I noticed that one thing that you said totally startled me, because I have never ever heard that anywhere or read anywhere, which is, you said Brahman is a medium to experience something else. It's a medium. And
It is the
that,
medium that holds everything. I
yeah,
didn't say it is a medium. That's what he is saying. I didn't say it. Sri Krishna
who's
is saying
saying
it.
it?
Sri
Who's saying?
Krishna is saying it.
Okay,
Sri
so Sri
Krishna is
Krishna
saying
is
it.
saying is we cannot just dismiss what he's saying,
Exactly.
right? So if he's saying it, that's what it is. That's what we have to think without any if and or buts, right?
Correct.
So if he's saying that it is a medium, my understand first thing, also there is a confusion here about, you use the words interchangeably, the Brahman, the Atma, and the and what we call God or supreme power.
No. I
Okay.
am very clear. God is not Brahman. God is
Okay.
it's a material entity. It's God creates. This is actually an Abrahamic invention. It is not there in our system.
Okay, let
In
me talk in our system words. Okay, then
mm, mm,
my understanding is that the Nirguna Brahma, the unmanifest Brahman,
mm,
he becomes manifest in order to
mm.
create this creation.
Correct.
Okay, and
Correct.
then he becomes immanent and transcendent at the same time, one and the same time,
Absolutely. Why?
right?
How does that happen? And that's clearly explained here by Sri Krishna. No, he says that this is unmanifest in the beginning, manifest in the center, and then unmanifest again. But at the same time, it's it is not the doer. It is not the observer. It is just the one that gives you the framework on which materiality
It is the
happens.
stuff of which everything is made ultimately.
No, it is not even the stuff of it. It is just a medium on which everything is functioning. It is not participating at all. It is not. It is the medium on which everything is happening.
Then how when the pillar was broken by Prahlada, for Prahlada, this Narasimha Swami story, that Narasimha came out of the pillar, right?
Correct.
So I'm not saying, I do understand, unlike a child, that Narasimha was not trapped in the pillar until he was summoned out of it. He was not trapped. But what it is my understanding. Okay, I'm saying God being immanent in the universe that he created, he's there in every particle, Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam, right? And therefore, it is his will to physically manifest himself out of any particle at any time that he chooses to. Therefore, when the pillar, that he challenged him and said, is he in this pillar? So in that moment, he broke the pillar and came out of it.
Okay. Now here, what we are saying is, Brahman is the medium on which Narasimha Bhagavan.
No. I'm not
manifested.
differentiating between the two here,
You have
because
to.
no,
You have to.
let me say, do you realize why I said one thing earlier, that the unmanifest Brahman decides to manifest himself in order to create a creation.
He does not manifest. He is unmanifest in the. He does not manifest. He is unmanifest. That's all. He does not manifest. He is not a participant at all in this whole thing. He is
He
just the
becomes
medium.
a Saguna Brahmana.
He does not become. It is Saguna Brahma. He does not become anything.
Become meaning he takes on. See, something
He does
is
not. He
okay.
does not. That's the point.
Okay, let me say like this. Say there is steam, okay, and now the steam is now condensed and becomes an ice cube. Okay, so the steam, whatever the steam was made up of is what the ice cube is made up of too. Yes. However, the shape and form is changed. Before it was like steam, you cannot hold it, you cannot see it like that, and then it became ice cube. So the Brahman, who couldn't be seen, who's like totally Parabrahman sitting somewhere, Nirguna, like how the other participant said, like that he becomes Saguna, Sakara, in order to create this creation.
Okay.
And then also becomes
you are
immanent.
asking.
Put
No.
himself
You
in
are
it.
asking me to get into the manifestation part, which is a very lengthy exposition. Now, all I'm trying to say here is that.
So when you said Brahman is like he cannot be cut and all those things can also be said for the Atma. We say generally, commonly, that Atma is something that doesn't die with the body, and that it cannot be burnt and all those things.
What happens to the Atma is one that goes from body to body. Okay?
Yes.
Until it achieves moksha.
Yes.
So that means it emerges from the Brahman, becomes manifest, and then unmanifest when it merges with the Brahman.
Right. So it's a part of the Brahman only, na? It came out of Brahman.
Correct. The point is that it came out of the Brahman, but it is no longer part of the Brahman. For as long as it is not merging back into the Brahman, it is existing in the framework of the Brahman without being the Brahman itself.
Okay, like a wave out of the ocean. The wave is separate. We don't call it the ocean, and the wave is or a little bit of handful of water out of the ocean we take. Then the water and the ocean have the same quality, but the water in our palms is got
slightly different. It is separated.
Yeah, the same way
it is separated. It is separated.
So Atma is still the same thing, na? Then Atma is God.
Aham Brahmasmi, na?
So that is a matter of realization, and I don't think anyone in this world right now who says flippantly Aham Brahmasmi, they actually have any clue even what it means to say Aham Brahmasmi.
Which is what we are trying to figure out right now. Which is what this class is about. Okay. The only difference between the other classes and this class is that those classes you have an intellectual discussion. Here we are trying to say that we must have an experiential discussion. That is, we must get there. There's no point in talking about it if you can't get there.
Right.
So the
the,
difference, the
that
only
tapas and
thing
all
that,
they do, no, those rishis, they do it for that only, no,
correct.
to then. So we also need to do tapas in order to
Absolutely. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Hey, you can't say, hey, I'm going to order by Swiggy and I'm going to get Brahman. That's not going to happen.
I don't mean like that, but
Yeah, you have to put in you have to put in effort.
okay.
You have to put in effort. There is no easy way out. You have
So,
to put in that
so we
effort.
come back to this question of Brahman being the medium. So, if he is a medium, like air, or air is a medium for us to, we are all in this space, Akasha, right? So, when you say Brahman is a medium, my understanding was Brahman is beyond all the five bhutas, the five elements. Huh?
Correct.
So,
Correct.
when he is a medium, what is he a medium of?
The substrate null, the
Of the
conscious
void,
state of null. Null. What is null? Null. See,
Akasha.
no, beyond Akasha. The
Okay.
point is, you in zero, there is no material, there is nothing in material in zero, but zero exists.
Yes.
So what I'm asking you to do is tomorrow morning, sit and say, think for yourself, what is zero? How can I experience zero?
So immediately the thought comes in our head that zero means vacant, zero means nothing, zero means
Correct.
all those. But those are all our cerebral understanding. It is nothing to do with
Correct.
experience. See?
No, first it will be like that only. You will have all these cerebral experiences, this kind of intellectual experiences you will have. Then slowly you'll realize that I'm in the wrong path. I am not answering the question. So long as you don't bullshit yourself, you'll be fine. So
Okay.
you will be answering the question 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. What is zero? What is zero? What is zero? Then at one point you realize you're looking at the material aspect of zero. Then you'll go into the cognitive aspect of zero. Then you'll go into the experiential aspect of zero. When you go to that point, the experiential aspect of zero, you'll realize that there is no such, there is, zero is actually is a place where it's only cognitive and nothing moves. So that is precisely what we do when we try to do dhyana.
So you
Get to the
have
state
made
of
it sound
silence.
very simple, but this is going to take a long time from one stage to another. And also, I
Yep.
don't know how we will know which will be the next step to do. Like there's no how to manual and all that, right? So we how will we know
Yeah.
to move from one stage to another stage and deeper and all that? How will we know?
So that's why we have the class, no?
Okay. So you
That's why
should
we are here.
if you give us homework, no, very detailed, specific homeworks.
I've given you
Then
homework, no? I've given
well,
you homework. Zero.
okay, this is for next week.
No, this is for the rest of your life.
Yeah, no, to come back and give a feedback about it, no.
If you think that it's going to happen that easily, it's not going to happen. I've been struggling for the past
So
20
many
years to
years,
figure out
yeah.
what is that what is silence, what is zero. These two questions are very difficult to answer.
I think this is where our samskaras and previous birth things and all those layers and all come and become hindrance, probably, or I
There
don't
is
know.
no hindrance. It is you that is imagining that there is a hindrance. Why you've got perfection inside you. The problem is you are not willing to try.
But you have been trying, no? You said like so many years.
So
So
you can easily give up. No, but
yeah.
I also have had a samskara. No, I've been a grahastha. I've had
No,
children. The
not in
children are
this,
studying.
not in this lifetime. I'm talking about all the previous ones which we have no idea about.
Why are you worried about that? No, here and now. Worry about this.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Let go the worry also. Seek the silence. It will come.
Okay.
See, the thing is,
Maybe we should all start writing a journal sort of every day, how we
you're
felt.
overthinking. You're overthinking. That is the problem. Don't overthink.
Okay.
Don't overthink. Just be calm. Just try to be calm. Seek the silence. Reflect on the state of zero.
Okay.
Don't overthink. And be kind to yourself. You're a great person. Don't try to achieve. Just let go the achievement. The need to achieve. It will come.
Okay, sir, as I see that there is a lot of dismantling to be done before any scaffolding can be done. Because we are all conditioned a certain way of thinking, certain way of reacting.
Why are you grappling with it? Just transcend it. Let it be. No. If you, what is a bypass? You go to Bangalore bypass, you go to Mysore bypass. What are you doing? You are not going into the town. Why do you want to struggle with the town? Do the bypass. Go around the bypass.
Okay, shortcut. Okay.
No, bypass it. Bypass the problem. Bypass your current state. Just try to seek the silence.
Yes.
Okay. May I interrupt here, please?
Yeah, please go ahead. Sorry. I think it took a longer time.
No. I'm sorry. I asked if I could interrupt. That means I'm stepping in. So I'm just wondering if I can feel the state of Brahman just the way I am made, with everything that I am, the way I feel. Yes. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. Right? You don't have a different envelope. This is the only envelope that is available.
Yeah. So just the way I have been made, I can still feel Brahman, right? I don't need to change anything. Yeah.
No, there is no need. Yeah. You just be there. That's all. Let it, whatever is happening, let it happen. But inside you, there is a silence.
Inside me, there's something which is eternal. It's like that. It can't be changed. That's the way it is, right?
So you have to find the inertness. There is something that is the vibhuti. Why do we wear vibhuti? Vibhuti is inert. That inert state, if you can get the inert state, that is the Brahman.
Just one last bit. Brahman is a state of zero. Okay.
Yes.
And from Brahman, manifests happen. And once the manifests happen, Brahman has no role, nothing, no involvement, nothing. No. Okay.
It's just the medium.
It's just a medium.
Okay.
So
okay, sir.
Does that? Oh, I'm so sorry. Let him talk. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Okay, sir. So I have the knowledge that initially there was only Akasha and Prana.
Okay.
So at the time of dissolution, also there was only Akasha and Prana. In between that all these manifestations all came. So
where have you read this, sir?
So this is in the Yoga Sutra of Shankaracharya. Not Vivekananda.
Yoga Sutra was Patanjali's, no?
Patanjali Brahma Sutra written by Swami Vivekananda.
Sir, I'll have to do. Can you send me the reference, sir? Let me take a look at it, because I'm not sure that I understand what you're saying, because what you're saying does not is not matching what I understand. So I will do some research and I will come back to you, sir.
Just I shall tell what I understood. Say initially at the time there was only Prana and Akasha. All these forces now manifested are the Prana, and all these materials are Akasha. On the combination of all these manifestations came to the world. So at the end of dissolution also, all the prana will go to the prana, and all this material to Akasha.
So there is only one question. So then there is only one question, sir. Yes. Where does prana and where does Akasha come from?
So that is my at the beginning it is written like that. Initially there was only prana and Akasha. And then this Akasha got all these these gunas, all these gunas, and according to the mix-up, these materials differs. So
I'm a little confused. I don't know, sir. Okay, what is your question, sir? Sorry, sir.
No, my question is that prana is Brahman? That was my
No, sir. No, sir. Because prana is material. Prana has to come from somewhere.
Prana is not material. Prana is the source of all energies for movement.
but it is still material, no sir. You can still
No.
feel prana, no? You can feel prana.
Yes. Prana, we can feel it.
That
So
means it is material, no sir?
it is a book written by the speeches of Vivekananda and the explanation of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. In that book, it is clearly written everywhere. There was only prana and agasa in the initial stages. And
Okay. I mean, Swami Vivekananda is a great person. I do not have any, I cannot say anything against him. But I am unable to understand how, when prana itself is material, where prana, then it must come from some place.
So it is
So
a book written as Raja Yogam by Śrī Vivekananda. It was published by from Thrissur.
Okay, I will check. I will check if I can get if you can just send me a snapshot. It's in English, sir, or it's in I don't read Malayalam. If you can.
Oh, it is a Malayalam book.
Oh,
It is
okay.
printed at Prabhuddha Keralam Press, Perinattukara, Thrissur.
Okay. No, sir. I can't read Malayalam. But see that my logic is very straightforward. If it is prana, if it is akasha, both of these must have come from some place. Now, where they need to come from is what is the question. Unfortunately, Swami Vivekananda is not there with us, so I can't ask him the question. But the fact remains that we have to answer the question. Where does prana, where does akasha come from? We cannot get away by saying that it already existed.
No, that in Puranas also there is, at the time of dissolution, there is only flood that and that Krishna is floating on
What is that state? What is that state? That is the question. No, when dissolution happens, when pralaya happens, what is that state? It is a state. It is not, see, Krishna and all that is all very nice to give us names, but it is a state of cognition, a state of experience, a state of existence. What is that state? That is the question we need to answer.
Okay.
Am I able to, am I making sense to you?
Yes. I understood what you said. That this book also, so I liked it very much, and I have read it for 3-4 times.
See,
Everything is explained in that about the Raja Yoga.
See, the issue, sir, here is very straightforward, sir. Even in Viveka Chudamani, Sri Adi Shankara says, even if the Guru says something, you must question it until you are able to understand what is going on. Here, the question that I am asking is very simple. If there is prana, if I can experience prana, it means it is material. If it is material, then it must come from some place. If there is akasha, I can see the space, then I can experience the space. It means that it is material. It must come from some place. What is that some place? The only place that we can then say is that it comes from nothing only. There is only one place anything can come from. That ultimate silence, okay, the nirguna state. So this is basically even the questions, the answers. I'm quite happy if you question yourself and then come up with an explanation or an answer which everybody can share. At the end of the day, it becomes a satsanga only, no sir. We are trying to improve.
Here in this book, it is written that this Yoga Sutra is based on Sankhya Shastra of Kapila Maharshi. In that, there is no God at all. But in Yoga Sutra, there is God.
No, sir, there is no God. There is no such thing called God, sir. God is a Western invention. We don't have any concept of God. It's only Brahman.
But Yoga Sutra says there is God. That is, Mukta Purushas are called.
Purusha is not God, sir. Please don't confuse God.
So even then, they consider there is God. And this
What do
Raja
you
Yoga
mean by
says,
God, sir? What do you mean by God? You need to define God, sir.
So if I could just tell this so-called this God, these are only symbolism. These are, this is not actual God. God is energy, as you said. That is why he
Yes,
has no form.
yes, that
So
was
this only
if
symbolism is what I have understood. I can be wrong.
yes, if God is energy, that my question is that prana is this Brahman, is the energy,
No, sir. The prana is not Brahman, sir. Prana is physical. It is a physical existence. You can experience it. If you can experience prana,
No,
then it
in the
cannot be God. No, sir.
so in this also it is said that prana is not breathe.
Prana is not breath.
Breathe
Correct.
is
Prana
only
is motility.
not breath. Yes, it is only due to prana, the muscles are moved and the air is sucked in and out. So the cause of breathing is the prana.
Sir, in our Hindu way of looking, the God or Brahman can be also
God and
called
Brahman are
as
different. Don't
okay,
confuse this.
because I'm using the medium of this language which is not our countries. So what
Correct.
we are basically doing is, when it's convenient for us, we are using this language, but when we are using a word from that language, you're saying God is not that. Because for the Brahman, the equivalent word in English is only God and nothing else, as much as I know.
See the difference between God and Brahman. I need to explain this. In Abrahamic faith, God is the one that creates, that preserves, that looks after what happens to
No,
you and all that.
sorry to interrupt, sir, but I understand what you are saying. I am simply saying that, say a person wants to translate the word Brahman into English. Now you tell me, how will he do other than saying the word God? He has no other word in the English language.
Use Brahman, no?
Then Brahman
Why?
is a Sanskrit word. It's not an English word.
Correct. Why do you want to use
So
an English
we
word?
are talking, this
Brahman is
class is,
Brahman.
we are conducting this class in English, right? So we are trying to
No, you're indulging in hair splitting. I use prana. I use the the ida. I use pingala. At that time, you don't have any objection. Now suddenly, when we are getting into this, you are saying that there is something that is confusing.
No. See, for Ida Pingala and all that, though that even the existence of Ida Pingala is not known to those Western faiths. Okay, so there is
So
no way they
existence
will.
of Brahman is also not there in their faiths.
Okay,
They
but
don't
the
have the
nearest
existence of Brahman.
equivalent of Brahman
There is no equivalence to Brahman.
for them.
For us also, the God is not there at all. We don't have anything called God. It is only Brahman. Why do you confuse this?
Okay, so Brahman, in my understanding, is not energy but consciousness.
It is the state of consciousness at null, at the null state. That is chitta vritti nirodha. That is where the consciousness is not moving. It is the nirguna state, where there is no attributes.
So Nirguna state of whom?
You.
So then I don't become Brahman. Oh, you are saying that Aham Brahmasmi stage.
Huh?
Oh my God. Okay, sir. That is a very, very advanced stage, I think, to realize that I am Brahman
Why?
and come into that equilibrium position of,
Why?
because
Why?
you have to reaching that equilibrium where you said everything is still, that level is not so easy, no?
You just said, no, my God. Oh, this is what it means. That means the spark has come, no?
That is simply cerebral, sir. Let me be very honest. I am
One
not some
minute, one
yogi.
minute, one minute, 1 minute. When the spark has come, all you have to do is make it into fire and let it consume you. That's all.
Okay.
You have infinite potential. You are the one who's putting chains on your own feet and saying, I cannot go anywhere. Who's stopping you? You are the one who's stopping yourself.
Okay.
Yes, Jayashree madam.
So how I understand this, Brahman is the source from which manifests come, and then Brahman puts his hand and feet or whatever form up and says, I have nothing to do with everything. It's Maya, so you live your life. That is it, right?
No. Brahman is new, it's Bhasma, it is Vibhuti, it is the neutral state. It is a state on which everything is suspended. Everything acts on it, but it is not participating in it. We are now in Brahman. This is all Brahman.
Okay, so prana is material. This is something for me. My takeaway today is prana is material. I always thought prana is is the spirit which is running through every living being, according to whatever little bit I have read here and there.
That is correct. That is correct. Yeah. Prana is running through every being, whether it is sentient or insentient.
Well, that's the electricity that runs through everybody, right? Yeah.
Correct.
And that electricity, that prana, comes from the source, which is Brahman. Okay?
Yes.
Can we call Brahman as the source? Can we refer to Brahman as the source?
Yes.
We can? Okay. Primarily, I want to get that clarified. Okay. So now, like today, like I said, for me, prana is material, is something huge. It's really huge. That's got me thinking. So I think the deeper the silence happens, I think there'll be slow baby steps towards what that source is all about. Baby steps. Right?
Correct.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
So all of us are, in the same thing. So moksha does not happen that easily. You have to come into the silence. Then you have to go. See, before you go to prana, you have to transcend akasha. Akasha and prana are both the most difficult thing to transcend. Again, as I'm telling you, don't grapple with materiality. You cannot win Maya. Maya is so powerful. You have to transcend it. You have to say, Maya, you be there. I'm going in a different direction. That's it. You cannot fight Maya. Maya is just too powerful. You have to do the bypass. That's what I said, bypass. Maya is there. You bypass Maya, transcend Maya and try to get to Brahman. Don't try to struggle with Maya. The minute you try to struggle with Maya, you will lose. Because Maya is the external and the internal anchors which drives your identity.
Isn't it for Brahman, we can say Chaitanya. That Chaitana, that awareness, that's what is, what, that, So that is what is in everything and everyone.
Yes.
Everything is and we are, or we feel, we can make out that I am or I is.
Correct.
So that Chaitana, that in its pure form, we may not be get to it immediately, but we can make out to some extent when we to get a glimpse of it, when we realize when we see the awareness part of it, when we are sort of sakshi to it.
Sir, I was meaning the consciousness. That is Chaitanya only. I mean, he's using the word awareness. I use the word consciousness, but I meant the same thing, like as in Chaitanya being consciousness.
I know. It is the same. It is the same. So I just brought in that word for Chaitanya, and Brahman is that at a sort of a
sublime level. More sublime level.
Sublime and in the purest form, and in the samashti level also.
Samasti means what? Samasti means what?
Samasti means in the macro level. Everywhere.
Astu means exist. Sama means equal. So when the sum astu happens, that means what? You and the Brahman become one. See, all these are terminologies which reach the same place. Samasti, astu, aham astu. Astu means what? I exist, I am. Sam means what? I merged.
No, samashti. Right? Samashti is like the entire, everything included. That is where the Brahman is. So, of course, it is within us also, that awareness.
Yes.
That is a spark that we can sort of see. We need to see and need to experience that.
Yes.
Right now, we think we are just the name that we have and the body that we are. So we have to realize that Brahman is not only what is inside, that I am, I is, and also beyond the body and everywhere.
all
So I
materiality.
meant samashti in that way. Samashti
Yes.
means totality. Samashti is totality.
You're perfectly correct. So the thing is that instead of grappling with the material aspect of existence, all you have to do
Yeah.
is to bypass it and transcend it. So what happens is
Yeah.
that you are now getting to a state where there is complete silence. And that's all it is. It is not a major, the concept is simple. Getting there is the difficult part. So, okay, lots of people have left also. So I think let's close here. And I don't know if I was able to explain
I
Brahman
think
in its.
Pramod has put up his hand.
Pramod, Acho, hey, Pramod sir, please.
Okay, sir. Sir, my question is, sir, you told that Brahman is everywhere. So in our body also, there should be so many Brahman, or this, if
Yes.
Atma is a Brahman, then why
Yes.
do we have only one Atma? There should be so many Atmas in our body. Sir, isn't
Okay.
it? Because Brahman is everywhere.
Okay, so now Atma is linked to Prarabdha Karma, okay, and Samsara, the cycle of Samsara. I don't want to take it in this class. So why don't we keep it for the next class? In the next class, we
I
will
think-
handle Dharma.
I think
I mean,
in
Atma.
Atma also, we have to differentiate between Atma and Jivatma. You know,
I'm
Jivatma
not sure,
is
madam.
what is in the. Pardon?
I'm not sure.
You can't.
Does it matter?
No, because he was asking about different, so many Atmas and all.
So
He
the
must
Atma
be
is
referring
essentially
to
what
the
I am.
Jivatma.
Okay, fine.
Huh.
Okay. So Paramatma,
So
Jivatma,
what
you
is-
want to differentiate between the two.
Yes, because there is this beautiful shloka which says, Ishvaro Guru Atmeti. Ishvara, Guru and Atma. Ishvaro Guru Atmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine. They are different aspects, we look at them little differently, but they are the same. Murti Bheda Vibhagine, it has to be, the Bheda has to be taken out. Ishvara Guru Ratmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murteye Namaha. So these are all pervading. Even the Atma is like Paramatma only. But when we look at it in that micro, in that one body aspect, then it is a Jivatma. So I was wondering whether Pramodji was saying that many Atmas means many Jivatmas. So we will have, if we specify it, then it becomes easy. Otherwise, Atma means which Atma? There is one Paramatma and many Jivatmas. I mean, which are, if we look at it in the Dvaita thing. In Advaita, everything is just one. There is no second.
Okay, I've understood, madam. What I'll do is I will take this up in the next Saturday class. Atma, Paramatma, Jivatma, and the entire
Very nice.
gamut.
It would be
So
very interesting. Yes.
I will definitely take this up, and we can definitely talk about it. Pramod sir, I hope that you will be patient, you will allow us to wait until next class.
Thank you very much, sir. We will wait, sir. I will wait. No problem.
Okay.
Thank you very
so
much,
next
sir, for
class
all
we
this
will
class
definitely deal with this.